If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Hey, good midweek evening, everybody, ladies and gents, boys and girls. How are we all doing tonight?
Yeah, I think there was a rhetorical question. I'm pretty sure everyone's just going to assume everyone's doing fine.
No, I'm waiting for answers. I'm always waiting for the answers.
It's going to be a long
Just
podcast.
like last Sunday.
It's going to be a very long podcast.
10 minutes in. Oh, I got some comments, actually. People answered. Nah, well, we hope you're doing quite well. We actually just kind of discussed our weeks and everything off mic here. So, everything's going okay, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on any new drugs, so hey, that's a small victory.
This is a small victory. Yeah.
I'm limited to LSD, Percocets, Vicodin, DMT.
You know it's going to be a good night already.
Ayahuasca, cocaine, meth, ecstasy.
All right, buddy.
Angel
okay.
dust.
Yep.
Speed.
Yep. Oh.
Biker crank.
How is your heart? Are you actually pumping yet?
Yes, it actually it had a beat last week. So. Doing quite well.
Oh, good. Big old son of a bitch. Please don't do drugs.
The Superhero Homies podcast do not endorse drugs.
This is gonna be our disclaimer.
Yep.
Yeah. Our Captain America video for high school gyms. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, guys, we're Cardians. Gosh,
we're Cardians.
We're covering Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's hard to believe this movie came out like just a year ago now.
Yeah, that's true because we saw it last spring. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's like last maybe was it May?
Yeah, that feels about right. May. Yeah.
Like April, May, somewhere in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did not think about that.
Yep. But James Gunn returns to direct, and of course we get the crew from Guardians 1 back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, freaking everybody. Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Yep. Zoe Saldana.
Yep. We even. Oh no! What?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we even get Michael Rooker back. I mean, we get. I always forget Nebula's name. Karen Gilligan.
Gillian.
Karen Gilligan.
I'm pretty sure it's Karen Gillian in that.
This villain is interesting because she's on an island all her own. But it was great.
Yeah.
It's always fun seeing this cast together.
It is, and as I was taking my notes down for the review of Guardians 2, I realized that they really don't stray that much from the original cast. Like they bring back the original crew, and they bring back like the necessary new people, aka Kurt Russell as Ego.
Yeah,
and I mean, really, we don't get a whole lot of new faces in a big sense. I mean. There's Taserface if you want to count him, but
kind of, yeah, Taserface. But and then let's not forget Palm. Help me with his last name here. Clementif. I'm going to go with Clementif. Okay, it's very German, people. Palm Clementif. She plays Mantis.
Oh yeah, yes, very true. Yes. Yeah.
We get empathetic, indeed.
But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this.
Yeah.
So this movie starts off in 1980 in Missouri, and we get these two young, very much in love people driving down the road. Beautiful background, singing.
Beautiful car.
Yeah, very nice car. Yeah.
Yeah. Brenda, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Such a fine girl.
Yep.
The Looking Glass.
It was just like that.
Just like that.
Yep. And I have here in my notes, we see Jason, Ego.
Yep.
And the reason I made that joke, guys, for those of you who don't know, in the actual comics, Peter's dad is Jason. He's part of like the Spartax clan, like the king of that race of alien people, whatnot. But for the movie, they replaced him with Ego. I mean, I really couldn't care less about the change. It would have been. I mean, I guess it would have been nice if they had, Jason in it, but it's whatever for me.
I mean, that was a comment I was planning on making later on, but it fits here too. Mm-hmm. They did definitely take their creative liberties here.
Right.
Now, whether or not they took that seriously, that's up for your judgment as an individual. For myself, I think they did. Mm-hmm. But they made a creative decision to say, hey, we're going to change the lore around to make this story happen. And it played out.
I think so, yeah. I think that's where they were really going for, is that they needed a character that could fit the plot that they were going for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what they created. And Kurt Russell was the embodiment of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the more I think about it, the more it doesn't upset me, but the more it frustrates me, because Kurt Russell would have made just as good as Jason as he did as Ego.
Yeah.
Maybe even better. But,
The world may never know.
Yeah, world may never know. Yep. But anyways, Ego, he's riding down the road with Meredith, and they're singing Brandy. And he takes it behind a Dairy Queen because product placement.
Well, hey, it wasn't... Oh, damn it. Help me out here. Ant-Man, the mango smoothie. It's a Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
I was going to say 31 flavors. Because I couldn't.
That's true. 31. Yeah. We remembered the exact stuff they used in the movie, just not the restaurant. So we couldn't use Baskin Robbins again. Of course not. We had to product place a different ice cream.
That's right.
Yeah. For Infinity War, they're actually going to be using Cold Stone. That's the rumor.
Yeah, Thanos is going to come down. And he's just gonna eat a cup of it.
I demand ice cream.
Oh shit. And here I was saying that we're going to get through this before 2 hours, damn it.
We will. Maybe. Knock on wood.
But he takes it behind the Dairy Queen, and no, people, get your minds out of the gutter.
I was about to say, the way you led into that, man.
Well, it must happen somewhere between now and the next scene.
Brandy was such a fine girl.
Yeah. But he shows her his space plant.
Dadgummit, dude. You're leading tonight. You're asking for it.
Oh yeah, but he shows her this space plant, which comes back into play later on here, and I mean at this point they really don't tell us a whole lot about what the purpose or point of this thing is, other than the fact that it's a cool looking, pretty unique flower,
right? And carefully planted out behind a Dairy Queen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
all that ice cream runoff will continue nourishing it.
Yeah. And then we come to present day. And we see the team, by team I mean the Guardians, and they're prepping to fight something. At this exact moment, we don't know what, but we know that it's probably going to be a son of a bitch. And we see this giant-ass space squid type thing.
Yeah, that's adequate.
Yep.
Space squid.
Yeah. It comes down, and then they have what I think is a pretty great intro for the movie.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I wasn't a fan because I was really upset at the idea of Baby Groot being so damn important,
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, this time watching it again, I did something. I have to brag about myself here, so please allow me. Okay. But I did something I never have been able to do before. I literally shut my brain off for this movie. Because, guys, it's one of those days for me where it's like work was just mind-numbing, and you're just like people after people after people, and after each individual person, you're just like... I hate this place even more, every second. But when I got home, it was like, I'm in the mood for this movie. I'm in the mood to watch something here. And I'm not even going to watch it from a critic mind point. I'm just going to sit here and be like, what the hell's going on through my mind? Yeah. Yeah. And it was great. But no, this opening scene, it was a whole lot more fun for me the second time around.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think the reason I enjoyed this opening so much is because, for one thing, it is action-packed and is equally funny, and we see Baby Groot doing something that's not completely eye-rolling. Yeah. I mean, he just kind of enhances this opening scene.
Yeah. Especially when he's dancing to frickin' ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, the whole time, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw the motion capture done for him. I believe it was done by James Gunn. Yeah. And like there's a video, you guys can find this out on YouTube, but it's James Gunn, and he's doing the motion capture work, and then they're showing Baby Groot side by side, like the actual footage in the movie, and it was pretty cool.
That's
cool
fun.
to see.
I'll have to watch that. Yeah,
because like he said that his dancing, like I mean, I give him props because he thought about this like way more than I would have. It was like I had to envision how a baby tree would dance.
That is a very intense question. Yeah. How would a baby tree dance?
Right.
It didn't twerk, you know.
No,
so there's that.
shit.
Yeah.
No, that would have been disturbing.
Something else I liked about this opening, it was cool because it's not been done like that before, you know? Where you got this intense fight, it's funny and adorable and good music all in one.
Right.
Like, wow. That's a huge blunt of an opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it was a really fun opening, though. One question that I did have,
what's up,
right off the bat is, why did they bring Groot with them? I know, people. It's a question that I shouldn't ask.
Oh, actually, I have a pretty okay answer.
What you got?
Okay, so you remember later in the movie, not to spoil it, because, a year later, but not, Drax, when they were separating, Drax took a bunch of his stuff with him, and she being frickin' Gamora was like, hey, why are you taking all this shit with you? Literally. And he's sitting there saying, well, I don't want Groot going through it. So maybe there's, take him with us so he doesn't go through the rest of the ship or accidentally start it off and run it into something, Again, cutting between the panels.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a parent saying, I don't leave my child at home by himself. Instead, I take him with me as I, do my dangerous job of stopping terrorists in an active open field.
Okay, not every parent's like that, damn it. Some parents, all they have to do is, go to the bank or the office.
No, the reason that I say that, though, is because that's the equivalent of what the Guardians are doing. They're fighting a giant, dangerous creature that's pretty much invulnerable from the outside.
That's true. And Drax, he was funny about that. I did appreciate the comedy a little bit more this time, too. Again, my brain.
Yeah.
But,
this movie, it does have a lot more jokes than the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm going to go ahead and say this now, I feel like James Gunn, when he was, prepping for this movie, I feel like he was thinking about what made the first one so successful. And I think in his mind, maybe what made this movie so successful were the cool visuals.
They definitely have that.
And the comedic chemistry between the characters.
Yeah.
And he leans on those things a little too hard in this movie. And that ultimately becomes part of his downfall for me.
No, you're right. I remember, even last week as we were talking about how we're going to do this podcast next, it was, we both shared that same disgruntled feeling where it's like, oh shit, we're gonna shed all over this movie. This is just gonna be another, oh, they shouldn't have done this and that and this and that, No, they definitely pandered way too much and just did a whole lot of, let's just make every joke possible happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But, in that regard, though, like, I still overall appreciate this movie maybe a little more than Ragnarok because Guardians 2, like, even though it is like joke after joke after joke, they just hit you over the head with them. But at least in Guardians, it's more tonally appropriate, like this is kind of what Guardians is about.
Yeah.
But like for Thor, it wasn't tonally appropriate. It was just weird.
I did learn something about Ragnarok, actually. Just an interesting note here. Apparently, the director of that movie asked the actors to do a lot more improvisation. So a lot of the scenes were actually do what you want. Rather than this is what we need. This is scripted. This is what we've written down. This is the idea of what we want. Get there however you guys want to. And so that to me is like, Okay, so that's why we got more Chris than Thor, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, that's a whole nother movie. Let's go back to ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually they do bring down the giant space squid thing. And
Hooray.
and right here, damn, I didn't get far at all. I think that I found a potential plot hole. Maybe you can let me plug it.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
What's up?
Okay. So the plot hole I have was with the original Groot being dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So...
Oh, wait. Do we want to clarify that for those who might not know? Yeah,
I was gonna
okay.
do that.
Okay, cool.
So, for those of you who maybe haven't heard, James Gunn recently on Twitter, I believe, has stated that the original Groot is actually dead. Baby Groot isn't the same Groot. He's a different Groot.
He's like his son.
He's like his son, basically.
If trees have sons.
Right.
Right.
And the plot hole that I think I may have found with that is one scene that was cut from Guardians 1 originally is Groot dancing, and then Batista, and then Drax, looking at him and saying something to him to the degree of, what are you doing? Stop that ridiculousness, something Drax like,
right,
to discourage Groot from dancing, and then that leads credence to at the very end of the movie when baby Groot is first born and he's dancing, and Drax looks at him and he stops dancing.
That's a good point. Shoot. I mean, maybe that's why they deleted the scene.
Maybe so.
It's like, wait, this is going to screw up a future idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows? But that's... Just don't think about it, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, the whole point of the mission was to get some kind of special batteries.
Yeah, they were protecting these batteries for the Kree. Yeah.
No, they were not for the Kree. They were for the Sovereign.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah.
Correction, good one. Yes. Okay.
And so they returned the batteries to the Sovereign, and then they're giving Nebula in return. And come to find out, Rocket stole some of the batteries.
Woo, go figure.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So we know that Rocket stole the batteries. I mean, they tell us right then and there. I can't really think of a reason as to why he did it, though.
Because he could.
That's what they said in the movie. But
it's not a strong reason.
It's not.
No.
And even in the end, like with the payoff that we're supposed to get with that, it's still not solid.
No. It's like, you didn't know this was going to happen, so...
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's just...
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I do like overall what they do with Rocket here.
Right.
I just wish they had played up more from Guardians 1 when Rocket was really distraught about his own origin.
Right.
Yeah. I think if they had played that up more, they could have implemented that a lot more organically into the movie.
Right.
Versus the I do stupid shit because I'm Rocket.
I think to a point, and maybe this is me putting information into the movie rather than deriving it from the source, like I should be half the time here. But I think to a degree you can say that's exactly why he stole it. Because he has such a rough origin, it puts him, hey, I want to do stupid shit because I'm unhappy about all this that happened.
Yeah.
But, and maybe on a psychological way overthinking the scale, it still matches well for that cause. But again, you're right. It's kind of like, oh, well, this played weird,
Right.
It overall was just a rocky road to get there.
Yeah, because they never even reference his past.
No,
not in this one.
they just tell their story. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But let's see. Drax gives Peter a pep talk.
Quote unquote.
I would want Drax on my team if I needed to beat like an evil creature or something, but I do not want him as like an everyday bro.
No.
I feel like life would just be too brutally honest if he were my bro. Like way too honest on way too much of a daily basis.
You need to find a woman like yourself. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
And then like just the story he tells about like his parents first hooking up and then like
and he has no qualms with sex.
Oh no. I mean he has a point though, like I mean it's Americans, he don't know Americans, but Americans as a whole, we have a real hang up on sex.
Yeah.
But Drax does not. The Sovereign Fleet attacks the Guardians next. They have like these cool little drone ships. Let me tell you, if our military could control drones like that, I think the country would be way cooler with with drones.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, that is not how they work.
No, these drones even had video game noises.
They did.
Like they weren't piloting machines; they were just like playing the game. Pew,
They
pew,
were.
pew, pew, pew.
They were even
Yeah.
gathering around the guy like was getting a high score.
Exactly, yeah.
I thought it was funny though.
It was super funny.
Yeah.
It played off well.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of gold paint.
It's so much gold paint.
That was
Yeah.
half the budget.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just it's interesting, guys, because you know what color skin does Adam Warlock have? Moving on. Let's see. Yeah, Drax uses like a bubble wrap spacesuit, and he uses a gun to like blow up ships. I'm like, well, shit.
This scene, along with many others, I'm going to tag here for us as we keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
This, the whole screenplay that they wrote out for this movie, the format and the way that they wrote it out, this whole film feels so much more derived from actual comic books. Like they literally took a panel and said, take a picture of that. We want that scene here. We want you to be able to screenshot this panel in the silver screen.
Right.
You know? And this was one of the many scenes where you can actually imagine yourself flipping pages of an actual printed comic book, people, and say, oh shit, that's our boy Drax flying outside the ship with a bubble suit. Freaking zip tied to a ship with a gun. Yeah.
Yeah. My thought was it would be damn hard to get a good shot.
Oh yeah, way hard.
Yeah.
Nah, because you're just like lining up. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You probably let go of the gun before you get a bullet out.
Right.
Especially in get this straight, a quantum asteroid field.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, they appear and disappear and just fly in random directions all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw all that noise.
Screw that science.
Well, let's see. Overall, I thought it was a pretty cool space battle, though.
Yep.
But the Guardians, they're inexplicably saved at the last moment by something they're not really sure what happened.
Because,
yeah.
the Sovereign were smart enough to fly around the field. Yeah.
But the Guardians, they crash land on planet Beirut. Beirut?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Also, yes.
And
Bert.
once they land, they're almost immediately approached by Ego and Mantis. Ego and Mantis land shortly thereafter, and they found Peter. But we don't get a whole lot of time with them right now. But on this point, they immediately jump planets, not the Guardians, but the movie, and we go to planet Contraxia.
The Hooker planet with Michael Rooker.
Yep. Like Hooker robots, man. That's the future.
Hooker robots, yeah.
That is the future. They do have like these like live sex dolls they're coming out with. Have you seen the things about them?
I have not.
Oh yeah, like
Wow.
they become like a real thing. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I did not see this article.
2018, man. What a time to be alive.
What are we doing? Curing shit?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Sex
no.
robots? Yes.
Oh yeah, well, we're making sex bots.
It's like Robin Williams. Have you heard his old sketch? Like, oh, we don't know the cure for even the common daggum cold. No, but
yeah.
we can make you harder than Chinese algebra.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, we see another Howard the Duck cameo here.
Oh, yeah.
He's just space hopping planets, I guess.
Apparently,
you know.
like, once you go duck, yeah.
You get love struck.
Good enough. Bravo, good sir.
Thank you. But yep, Yondu. You can tell there's something going on in Yondu's head here, like already.
Yeah.
What do you think he's thinking about right now?
I mean, he's already off his game. It's hard to depict from the very first scene because the
Right.
way we see him, the camera's zooming in from a high angle, going into him as he's like ponderously looking out a window. You know, shirtless. You know, the imagery of him buttoning his pants and his hooker bot turning itself off.
Right.
It's like, well, what did he just finish doing, ladies
Right.
and gents? But yeah, you could see that it wasn't like a, man, yeah, I just did that. It was more like a deep in thoughts, kind of like a moody type thing going on there. I don't know. I mean, probably thinking about Peter and like, well, shit went down, or who knows? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was worth noting that he kind of starts off in a weird mood.
He does.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, he's not exactly enjoying the celebration.
No, he's not. Everyone else is. I think maybe it's like maybe he's searching for a deeper purpose. Like maybe he's kind of tired of that specific Ravager type lifestyle.
True. That's
who knows? I'm just painting a broad stroke here.
Yeah.
But
then he was quickly pulled back to Earth.
That he was. Well,
or Planet Hookerbot.
Yeah.
He was pulled back to Planet Hookerbot.
Maybe it's called contraxia because you contract like different robot diseases.
You contract viruses.
Oh shit! But
we are in rare form.
We
tonight.
are. Yondu, he encounters Stakar, aka Starhawk, whatever you want to call him, doesn't matter.
AKA Sylvester Stallone. Wow, his whole character name and actor name is an alliteration.
And they have a really quick but really intricate and intense conversation.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I thought that they should spend a little bit more time on it, but I guess for time constraints, I mean, because like I said, it's really a really quick scene. It's like, oh, okay, and then it's over. Oh shit.
It's like I wanted more when I saw it. It was very cool watching Starhawk, right? Starhawk, thank you. Starhawk.
Or Stakar. They call him Stakar in the movie. It's the same thing. Either way.
It was interesting watching him interact with Yondu, kind of giving us like a slight explanation as to like, hey, that shit you did with that kid, Peter Quill, whenever you kidnapped him off of Earth and kept him, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
You just lost like the support of all of these other factions.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Little origin story here.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But we do find out later on in the movie, though, that... actually, no, maybe we don't.
What's that?
Well, I guess we're not really spoiling anything. You people already know the movie.
I would hope
But,
so.
Yeah. But, remember the part way later on in the movie where we found out that there's a bunch of skeletons on Planet Ego that are all his other children that didn't have the celestial DNA.
Yep.
Those children were brought to him. Weren't some of them brought to him by Yondu?
Yep.
So Yondu wasn't caught for those other ones, but he was caught for Peter?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Peter's the one he kept. So it's like, hey, what the hell is this? We have a kid? What?
Right.
Okay, whatever. So
I guess
when's the recruiting age?
Right. I guess maybe they thought that, you're bringing back Ego's children to him. That's really, really cool of you.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have been also a super private deal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yondu definitely felt bad about it.
Right. But, anyway, I thought this was a cool bit of character development for Yondu. And a cool way to bring in Stakar and some of his other crew.
Yeah.
I think we also see Martin X. That's the crystal creature.
Yeah, we did. I knew I recognized him.
Yeah.
First time I saw him on screen. Second time it was much easier.
Right.
Yeah. You can't miss him.
But at this point, Yondu, he is almost immediately contacted by the Sovereign, specifically Aisha, the leader, lady of the Sovereign, who refuses to walk on impure snow, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. Like, blue carpet has to be rolled out.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid.
We don't see what the deal is about here or what she's talking about, but we can kind of
we can piece it together quickly.
Yeah. So next up, we get Gamora, Star-Lord, and Drax. They decide to go with Ego because Ego, he talks to them for a while and he's able to, I guess, mostly convince them that, hey, it's all cool, but the Guardians have their guards up. That was not a pun. But not an intentional one.
I'm debating if it was or not, yeah.
Not an intentional one.
Well, I mean, they were very questionative because it's like, hey, what's good? I'm your dad, and, I have this awesome planet. We should go there.
Yeah. Peter does ask a lot of good questions, like, why didn't you come for me till now?
Exactly.
I mean, and I guess Ego does have a pretty good response. Well, as soon as I heard about, someone holding an Infinity Stone, then I knew that, hey, maybe this must be mine. Seeing that, I guess only certain beings can hold them. Now, does that apply for all the movies? I guess it does.
I was going to ask you that. You read my mind.
Because, think about it, I guess so, because Red Skull can now hold the Tesseract.
True. He couldn't hold that. And then no one technically held the mind gem.
It was in the
put
staff.
Into Vision.
It was in Loki's staff.
Yeah.
And then it was in Vision's head.
Yeah. And so no one ever like said pluck and put.
Right.
No, that was just.
Yeah. What about the ether?
That was a gas. So can
yeah,
you
that
touch
was.
it?
Yeah. At the end, they did solidify it, but they had it in like a case when they
Right.
gave it to the collector.
Yeah, that's right. The big old fat square. Whereas
Right.
the Guardians got this convenient little ball.
Yeah.
But
let's see. We're missing at least one more.
time gem. Yeah,
Yeah.
But that's in a necklace.
Yeah, that's in a necklace, so you don't have to touch it.
Hmm.
So I guess that holds true for now.
Yeah, it holds true for now.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure we saw Thanos in the trailer pluck one with his own
Oh,
fingers.
I'm sure we did.
He's a
but
Titan,
yeah, I have no
so,
problem with
yeah.
Thanos doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess also it'd be different if Thanos just held them in his hand, but he has a gauntlet built for them.
Right. If he was just like, ooh, we gonna super punch stuff now.
Right.
Thank you for the gauntlet to
Yeah.
put these in conveniently. Yeah.
Let's see. So on their way with Ego to Planet Ego, Mantis explains and demonstrates her empathetic powers.
Yeah.
And
Do me. Yeah.
That leads to my next question. What do you think Drax's dark secret is?
I'm not sure. Knowing him, I don't think he's got that many secrets.
Yeah.
Probably
The way that he is,
the only thing I can imagine him keeping secret or
is that maybe he
keeping close
does.
to chest.
Maybe he does like dancing. That'd be one for sure.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a funny one, appropriate for the movies. Thinking deeper into the character himself, though, the only thing I could see him keeping close to the chest is exactly the depth of sorrow he feels for the death of his family.
Yeah.
You know, that's been like the driving resolve for this dude. You know, so I can imagine something around that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And which does lead to another complaint that I do have about the movie is Drax himself, man. He's just not even focused on that.
We had to talk about that.
I mean, we had
to pull it up.
I mean, that's
Dave Bautista, the actor for Drax, even said,
Right.
"Guys, what the hell is this?"
Yeah. During the table reading, he was very unsure about it because, when he was reading the script, he said he wasn't sure about it. Then he said he came around for it during the table reading. But then he immediately followed it up with saying that Drax is going to be more to form in Infinity War. So
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's his opportunity.
Yeah. because here he's just jolly and happy,
He's a comedian here,
Yeah.
which is weird.
It's very bizarre. I think maybe they wanted to make him a more likable character. I think maybe we put too much stress, and maybe we're too harsh on like the writers and directors. Maybe it's like the upper echelons. Maybe it's like the people that run the shit that are like make him more likable.
Maybe, but I have another idea. Keep going, because I need you to mention certain scenes, and then I'm going to share with you my idea, because I'm surprised it took me this long to think of it.
Okay. The next thing we get here is that back on planet Behet, the Ravengers ambush Rocket, Groot, and Nebula.
That was a cool scene.
That was a cool scene.
The Rocket fight back. Yeah,
this right here, this scene really showcases Rocket's ingenuity. Mm-hmm. Because in the first one we get to see him, do some pretty cool stuff, but here they really show off how capable he is. And I thought that was very cool and very necessary. Mm-hmm. I just wish they'd given him equal depth to his character that they did in showcasing his abilities.
Oh yeah, I mean these scenes again, especially when he's playing with the people, throwing them up, That's another scene where it's like, that's from a comic book. That looks just like one.
Probably.
Yeah.
This right here is actually a throwback to the previous scene when Ego's first talking to the gang. But I forgot to write it down, so I wrote it down here. Triangle face monkey. That shit made me laugh so hard.
That was a good one. Yeah. There were some great lines in this movie.
There were, and it was also just the way that Kurt Russell delivered it. He's like, "Yeah, so you can come to my planet, bring your friends, even your triangle face monkey."
Because you knew he knew what that was. He just said it to say it.
Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, he was on Earth.
He was on Earth for a while, but maybe he never saw a raccoon, or maybe he saw one, just didn't know what it was.
Maybe he thought it was a triangle.
Maybe when he was on Earth, he saw monkeys, but never a raccoon, and just assumed, oh, that's A triangle face
I
monkey.
can imagine now. Like he's there driving with Brandy. They pull up to a stop sign.
Meredith,
thank you. Wanna be Brandy.
Yep.
And they see a raccoon in the tree, and he's just like, "What the shit is that? You have weird shaped monkeys." Anyways.
Oh yeah. But almost immediately we get like the insurrection of the Ravengers, like the mutiny. Mm-hmm. And,
which was also kind of cool.
It was.
Yeah, the Ravengers have some cool moments in this movie.
For them, this was like the most inappropriate time ever for this.
Right, like guys, really, you can't save this for late. Well, then again, what can you expect from a non-political, untrained group of savages?
That's what they
great.
are. Yeah, they are space barbarian pirates.
Yeah. That's aptly true.
Nebula, she takes down Yondu and Rocket. I'm surprised Yondu doesn't have any like neurological damage.
I know, right? I loved this part where she shoots him, says some badass shit, bites into the fruit.
Yeah,
it wasn't right.
It wasn't right,
and still looks badass saying like,
exactly. Yeah,
it wasn't right.
It's just one of those things. You knew it was going to come back around because they already mentioned that twice in the movie already.
I'm really hungry. Let me eat that. You
it's
can't
not
eat
right
that.
yet.
It's not right.
Yeah. Man, also Nebula, she's one of my favorite characters in this movie here, in the second one. She does some really fun stuff here.
She does.
Her and Gamora have, I'm gonna go ahead and say, in my opinion, like the best plot or arc point in this movie.
Yeah.
Like
I could see
their stuff is just really good.
I'd have to think about it before I develop my own opinion, but okay. Yeah.
Yep. Next up, we get Ego's planet. Drax is really jolly. Like, it's just over the top here as she's like popping the bubbles and laughing, and it's like,
who the hell are you?
Yeah. Ego declares himself as a celestial being. So that would definitely explain why, he can hold and Peter can hold an Infinity Gem.
Right. How he can destroy a bunch of ships in one blow, and and how he owns a planet.
How he is a planet, yeah.
Yeah.
Ego tells his origin, and I mean it's a very fly by the seat of your pants type origin,
It is.
Like I just remember I was being one day, and then after millions of years I learned how to create.
I learned how to manipulate the molecules around me.
And so that's pretty much that. But Peter asked a really good question that I'd be disappointed in this movie if he didn't ask. Peter goes, "If you loved her being Meredith, his mom, then why did you leave her?"
Well, I mean that hits home for a lot of people out there. You know, the idea of dad left mom and we were by ourselves. You know, so I'm sure they knew they had to take that seriously. With good questions and then good responses in turn, like, "No, you weren't a mistake," and things like that.
At this point, though, they still did a pretty good job of covering up like the villainy of Ego. Just by having him saying, "Look, Peter, I would if I could, but I really couldn't. If I'm away from here too long, then my essence fades and blah blah blah." So it was a very prompt and appropriate response.
Yeah. Well, you gotta remember.
Yeah.
Star-Lord got it from somewhere.
Oh yeah. Now going into this movie, especially with the origin being, or with the I guess with the story being kind of flipped on side his head, I going into this movie, I didn't know for certain if Ego was going to be a villain or not. I just kind of assumed because we didn't see a villain in any of the trailers, so I was like, maybe they're just going to go with him, and that's kind of what happens here.
Yeah.
It was
long story short.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice because we don't see, at least to my recognition in the trailers, I don't remember seeing them doing any kind of battles with Ego. I guess kudos on their part for that.
We see scenes from the battle, but nothing that clearly states we are fighting you.
Exactly. Yep. Let's see here. The Ravengers who backed Yondu, they are all thrown out into space.
Yeah.
Like, every single one except for, like, Kraglin. But, of course, at this point, Kraglin, he kind of started the mutiny. in a roundabout way. So
Yeah.
but you can tell he's immediately regretting his decision. All of his friends are being killed.
Yeah.
We get Taserface.
Taserface!
Taserface?
Which is super stupid. It really is.
Yep. Oh man, I love how he Taserface. What did Rocket ask him? Something like,
So what? You get up in the mirror every morning and just say to yourself, "I'm Taserface."
Yeah, but I just love as Rocket is talking, the Ravengers are getting less and less behind Taserface. He eventually is like, because my name inspires fear, and then everybody's like,
It's metaphorical.
it's metaphorical, yeah. And the Ravengers are like,
Yeah. Like at first I was like, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Like eventually
I
it
can
just
see
started
it.
no fear. Yeah.
Nebula stops Taserface from killing Rocket. I'm glad that she immediately mentioned the bounty on his head.
Right. We needed a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
It can't be just because.
Oh, because he's important, we can't kill him yet.
Right.
No. We can't kill him. He's worth money. That's viable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money pun.
Yeah. Nebula, she gets a new robotic arm, and on her way to the ship, she tells Kraglin the horrific story of her childhood with Gamora and Thanos.
Yeah.
And
And Kraglin was not ready for that. He's
Kraglin was not prepared for that response.
Nah, I thought you meant buy yourself a nice little necklace or
Yeah.
cool hat.
A cool hat.
Make all the other girls go, ooh, look at that.
It's funny how there's a callback to hats later on in this movie.
Yeah, there is. They
Yeah.
talk about hats a lot. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I am Groot. He doesn't like hats. Makes people's heads look weird.
As useless as Groot is, that was one scene with him that made me laugh.
That whole scene was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it to him.
Yeah.
That whole scene was pretty good.
I
It was
particularly
that
loved
particular part.
That part was hilarious too.
Yeah.
The dialogue. I don't like hats. It makes their heads look weird.
I am Groot. Yeah, I can't tell if it's their real head or if it's. So wait, really? That's why you don't
like hats? It's like, oh, you have a weird shaped head, but then they take off the hat.
What the fuck, Groot?
Yeah.
Anyways, Nebula, she takes a ship and she heads towards planet Ego. Next up, Peter grills Ego about him ditching his mother. Appropriately so, because his mother, she didn't die alone because she had Peter and her father with her. But up until the end, she ranted and raved about Peter's dad, about how great of a guy he was.
Like she was the embodiment of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandy, you're a fine girl. Yeah.
Ego shows Peter how to use his power with a question mark I have here.
Yeah, that part was a little weird for me.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like, oh, we're just kind of letting this happen in this manner. Like he's just instantly able to center in on the center of the planet, like focus on the center of the planet, and just be able to say, "Oh, let me Dragon Ball Z this shit."
I mean, I guess it makes sense for Peter to be able to, in some form, manipulate something if the source of the power comes from that planet. Like, had he been on another planet and did it, then I wouldn't have bought it as much. But I mean, they had to do it, so I mean, why not here?
And they had to do a throwback as well to the let's play catch type thing, because Ego was totally reading his mind for that shit. That's no coincidence,
right? Yeah, I mean, Ego was definitely, and it's fun to look at it and in retrospect and see that Ego was really just manipulating Peter all along, just to get him to use this power, just to see, oh, he can do this. He does have what I need for my plan to be a success. So, let's see. So next we get the Drax and Mantis scene. These two have a weird kind of funny and kind of forced relationship.
They do. I won't go far as to call it romantic. It was
No, not
definitely a
romantic,
friend.
but
Yeah,
there is a relationship.
right.
there.
Definitely. Like the two awkward people in the room found each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like not calling either one of these people ugly, but it's like the two ugly people having a conversation, and one ugly person is talking to the other ugly person because she knows they're both ugly, but the other ugly person has no idea that he's ugly. And so, in other words, like they're both just basically really weird and bizarre people.
Right.
One of them knows it and the other doesn't.
There you go. I like that description. Yeah.
But yeah, they're
I'm calling her a pet.
yeah. I mean, yeah, their relationship is just kind of weird, but
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
But then Gamora quickly swoops in and goes, "No, you're not a pet. You're not ugly."
Yeah.
Tell me more about your leader.
Yeah, it was great though, like how Mantis responded, because Gamora walks outside promptly, and she finds those two. She goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" And Mantis says, "Oh, Josh was just telling me about how I'm ugly." Just the way she says it was
How ugly.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, she was just about to tell Drax something pretty vital to the plot here, but then. We don't get it. Ironically enough, Gamora was trying to figure out what she was about to say.
Yeah.
When had she never did anything, we as the audience would have found out.
Yep.
But anyways, Drax, he remembers his family in this scene, but not his beef with Thanos.
I know, right?
Yeah. So
Like the inspired hatred from that sadness didn't come up apparently.
yeah, no. I mean, like, you haven't been searching for him this time. Like, he's definitely been out there in space.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to find him, now is definitely the time, when he doesn't have any Infinity Gems.
Which I'm going to use that as a doorway to talk about the thought I had a while back ago. Because, again, that's weird character manipulation to the point of where you kind of, like, messed up the original character here, right? And going back to the overall arching thesis about this movie, that it has way too much comedy for what it is, let's go back and think about another reason as to why they would have done that. And I haven't thought about it to now, and I'm kind of upset that I haven't. But how many people die in the first hour of this movie?
How many people die?
How many people die? Think about it. How many people are killed? Not just like, oh, an accident happened and something blah blah. No, how many people are killed, murdered in this movie? In the first hour.
As far as what we've gotten so far, I can't think of any.
There's a few scenes. For instance, the scene where Rocket was captured, and we get all the good soldiers
all those
ejected.
guys, all those guys died.
And then I'm a little early jumping the gun, pulling the trigger here. But then later on, when Yondu and Rocket get out of prison and they go throughout their ship,
Yondu kills all those people.
Yeah, like that's still within the first hour.
On.
That's
okay,
true.
Yeah.
But that's still within the first hour of the movie. Mm-hmm. I remember looking down, making this note. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
They kill 100, more than by I'm sure some, maybe even more than 200. Who knows?
Right.
But they kill tons of people in this movie. And then later on, you brought this up earlier, so I'm going to bring it up now too. Mm-hmm. Later on, we hear about the hidden graveyard under Planet Egos' core here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit, that's a lot more dead bodies. This movie originally has a really dark plot. So I could see them wanting to say, well, let's disguise this. Let's put some extra frosting on top of this horrible cake and say, let's make it jovial and lighthearted and another fun soundtrack.
The problem with that, unfortunately, is not as
Oh, yeah,
jarring.
no, I'm saying it's definitely a problem. So I'm agreeing, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say the problem with that, and the problem, fortunately, is not as jarring as it is with Ragnarok, because Ragnarok has the same problem, but just
Ragnarok
just to
the
the nth degree with Ragnarok.
Right. No, Ragnarok is a whole daggum another ball filled of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this right here is the same thing, but on a smaller scale, because you're right, a lot of the tone doesn't match what they're giving us here. Like the tone doesn't really match the plot.
Exactly.
And
And they're trying to throw us off, making us think we watched a Disney movie.
The problem is that, like I said, they're trying to cover up and, make it seem like it's more fun and jovial. But the problem is that's like mixing steak with chocolate frosting on top. Like,
what the hell?
Yeah, because you're taking two things that by themselves can be great, but once you put them together, you get this weird mixture that just doesn't come out well.
Or in other words, they tried to make it so jovial and lighthearted that they ended up messing up too much. Like the quality of the story, some of their characters.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because it's more like they're not... They have their plot here, and they're going through with the plot with all the deaths and all that, but they're covering that up with some nice frosting on top, some nice jokes and laughter,
right? Some baby Groot here, some funny lines there, right? And no, you're right. That's what I'm identifying as like part of the problem.
By themselves, those two things are great, but once you combine them, then
they don't belong.
They don't.
So that was the thought I had that I wanted to share.
Let's see where we'll leave off at here. So we go back to Yondu on the Ravager ship. He tells the story of Stakar saving him and then later being exiled from the original Ravengers. And then we go into the scene where Yondu is telling Groot to get his fin.
I did really enjoy this part.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. But it was definitely a scene they put in this movie just so...
Oh, no, they put it in just to make us happy.
They put it here just so we could see Groot do something.
Right.
Because
he was kind of useless.
Yeah, exactly. Groot doesn't serve a purpose here in this movie. They have to find purposes for Groot to serve. And that just makes him even more eye-rolling here.
Right.
Like, had he had, like, a more firm purpose, then... I wouldn't be so frustrated with this character.
Right.
But the fact that they really just don't know what the hell to do with him, so they make these adorable moments for him, that's eye-rolling.
That's a further example of what we were exactly just talking about now, where they used Baby Groot as a tool to just dip on more of that frosting, you know, more of that, hey, let's make him not realize this is such a dark movie.
Pretty much. In the end, Groot never gets the fin.
Nope. Yep. It was his other going.
It's Kraglin that gets it. Kraglin helps Yondu and company, and Yondu kills surely hundreds of people like a badass.
I loved the arrow. Dude, I love the arrow, man.
Yeah.
Like, man, we'll have to do a podcast eventually of like top 5 or top 10 tools or something like that.
In the MCU?
Yeah, because that is definitely a kick-ass tool.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to... Will we have to exclude the Infinity Gems?
Oh, well...
Because otherwise, they really wouldn't be fair.
That's too boring then. That's top 5. No, we'd include them all as one inclusive, I don't know, we'd set fair rules for ourselves, damn it. Yeah.
Let's see. Yondu, he sets... like 75 of the percent of the ship to explode, and then they escape through like this detachable part of the ship. So just in case he may have left one or two alive, they're definitely dead. And so at this point, like the Ravengers is no more because it's just
his faction of Ravengers. Yeah,
it's just Yondu and Kraglin.
Yeah,
I mean, the.
Taserface is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter and Gamora, they dance to Sam Cooke. Because if you can't dance to Sam Cooke, then damn it, what can you dance to?
I know, right?
And then we get the classic will they, won't they. And
as expected.
And then they argue again about family. I'm glad that this movie does have like a message that it's trying to send. But man, they beat you over the head with it. I mean, just the entire family. Like you can't go 2 minutes in this movie without being beat over the head with something that has to do about family. And I'm not anti-family, people. It's just that like you don't have to
sell us so hard on it.
Yeah, you don't have to literally mention it or reference it.
It is a Disney movie.
Yeah. Gamora, she and Peter get frustrated with each other, and she leaves and goes out on her own. She kills a little dandelion-looking thing with her sword because it was making too much noise for her. And then she gets ambushed by a crazy Nebula. Like, Nebula flying down in the spaceship, and Gamora's like, oh shit.
I know, right? Like, that right there was another comic book panel scene where it's like, you're flying a spaceship into a human being.
Yep. Firing those big-ass Gatling guns at her.
Like, no. Yeah.
They crash in, like, this little pit thing, and Gamora picks up one of the gun turrets that have fallen off the ship, wires that sucker, and then begins to blast at the ship that Nebula's in. And that was a pretty fun scene there, too.
Yeah.
But ultimately, though, she saves her sister. Gamora saves Nebula, and the ship explodes, and then after Nebula literally like pulls herself together and that weird creepy,
which was kind of cool, but kind of like, ooh,
yeah, that looks painful.
Yeah, like please don't do that in front of me again.
Right. Then she immediately attempts to kill Gamora and would succeed, but Nebula stops on her own free will. And then they have what I think is one of the best moments in the movie. Is right here at this spot. We see just from the first movie, we've seen the dysfunction between these two sisters, and we've seen how much Nebula just hates Gamora, and it's never really explained that much in the first one. But here, not only do they explain it and explore it, but they break that door wide open here in a good way. And in the end, Nebula she finally exclaims, you wanted to win, and I wanted a sister. And it was like them almost killing each other was the therapy that they needed for their relationship to finally be able to take a foothold somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was just an amazing part of the movie. Like if the parts with Peter and Ego could have been this impactful, then I think the whole movie as a whole would have been way better.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this scene. I have this. It's an awesome dynamic between the sisters. Like, it was a great moment. Next, we get Ego and Peter. Like, they're bonding and all that, just talking about, I guess, shooting the shit. Ego's still trying to build the trust and all that.
Yeah.
And then Ego, like, once he
son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, that's what he's a sociopath. Is what Ego is. I mean, really and truly.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean. If a planet's not a sociopath, then I don't know what it is.
Ego exclaims that he's found meaning. And then they don't tell us what it is at that moment. But fortunately, they do later on. The next scene we get here is Rocket, Groot, Kraglin, and Yondu. They're flying towards Planet Ego. And as they're heading there, we get the Stan Lee cameo, this is my favorite Stan Lee cameo ever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just Stan Lee chilling out with the Watchers.
Yeah,
like that's.
I mean it doesn't get much more badass than that.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No. Like this is definitely my favorite Stan Lee cameo.
Plus, it put the Watchers in the movie.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
It put the Watchers in the movie, and
no one knew who they were, but yeah.
But I geeked out hard in the theater when I saw this.
Shoot, I remember. I was there beside you, buddy.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No, we did not see Guardians together.
Yeah,
you were in Idaho. I was here in Georgia.
No. Was I?
Yeah.
No. Seriously, pause. Help me out here. What the it was last year at this time. Yeah, no. Shit. Screw me.
Yeah.
I was...
You and your damn false memories.
Who was I with? I don't know. Probably my roommate at the time. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like, I seriously had like a mental breakdown, like, what? No. Okay. You were doing stuff. Yeah.
But one thing about this scene also that I really like about this cameo is not just seeing the Watchers, but it's what Stan Lee says. He says, and then I showed up as a delivery driver to Tony Stark. And like he says it as an implication that I was this in this scene, and then I was something else at another time.
Like he himself has broken the fourth wall,
right?
Yeah.
Or exclaiming himself as a watcher. Is what a lot of people have assumed or theorized that he's a watcher before this movie, and then this leads even more credit to that.
I never heard that theory, but that's fun. I'll
Yeah.
believe in that. Yeah, doesn't change much. It's cute.
No, yeah, I mean, it's I think it's great.
Yeah.
So next, Yondu and Rocket have some sort of weird bonding that doesn't quite float.
Yeah, no, it was awkward.
It was, Yondu saying, I know who you are, you're me, like, and all that kind of stuff. Like
It's like, no, he's a raccoon.
yeah,
You're a blue man.
right. They did this in a weird way, trying to explain Rocket's behavior, but it still left me confused. Like, this isn't adding up here. It's like they were going for like another moment that they had with Nebula and Gamora, but this one fell flat.
Right. This one definitely had a weirder turnout, just because. I mean, you can feel it. Like they were trying. It was another one of those psychological connections. Like, oh, we both act out because we were, wrong. Blah. It's
Right. This one just felt forced to me.
Yeah. There was a lot of forced emotion.
Right. There was.
Mantis was too much behind the wheel here.
Yeah.
But
Next, we get the expansion, and that's Ego's whole plan here. His plan is to grow and spread, covering all that exists until everything is Ego. And come to find out, one Celestial isn't quite powerful enough to do it. It takes at least two Celestial to do it. And now that he's found Peter that has Celestial DNA, well, he can do it. So that's his plan now. I guess my question is, what then? What next? Like,
what do you eat next? Do you just go to the next universe over or something?
Right.
I mean,
and then the way he does it is with those blue plants, with those blue alien plants, those things.
Yeah,
and that was kind of weird. Honestly, that was hokey.
It really was. I mean, at that point, it gets more to a technical issue than anything else, because how else are you going to show people? What imagery would you use then to show we're taking this planet over?
Well, ultimately, when you think about this plan, and when it comes to
it's a bad plan.
It's a very bad plan, because then it's like, okay, so then it's just you. It's just Ego.
Like you're creating the same problem you had in the previous life here, where it's like, but I was alone.
Yeah,
you're making yourself more alone doing this, buddy.
Right.
Yeah, there will be no more Meredith. There will be no more Peter. Well, actually, I guess he and Peter will just eternally play catch or something.
Maybe he said, because Peter was going to be used as a battery essentially.
So yeah, maybe he was just going to absorb Peter. Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Drain and die him.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Sure. Let's see. This is the part where we also see a numberless amount of his children that have died in the process, like just their skeletons just buried underneath the earth.
So many different species and skulls and oh shit.
And then it's really where honestly, like, finally Ego kind of takes a turn for the better as far as his character goes. Yeah, because we see him, like, and it's a really, really brief scene where we see him courting other alien women, and then we're like, oh shit, well, he had a Meredith on every planet.
Yep,
he had a Brandy everywhere he went.
So no, she wasn't special.
She wasn't special. Yeah.
And then it gets even worse.
Yeah. It gets to a point though where it's like, okay, why'd you do that part? But anyways, we're getting there. Then we are flying through this movie. Shit.
Good for us.
Yeah.
See, we can do it. We got time to spare.
Yeah. Oh shit. Let's see. And it was during this part, Peter was seemingly game up until a certain point here. Peter goes, but what about my friends? And Ego says, well, they're immortal. They're here now. We're forever. We're eternal.
Well, Peter isn't really. I mean,
who knows? Maybe
he grew up. He's a 30-something-year-old man.
Yeah. Maybe if he taps into some sort of celestial,
sure.
Or maybe that was just a lie. Or maybe that's just a lie that Ego told him.
Maybe, probably, actually, yeah.
And then the weird thing is that Peter was still kind of game. Like, Peter was still like, oh, okay. Well, it was until Ego said, it's just a shame that I had to put a tumor in her. That's when Peter snapped.
Right.
But had Ego never said that, I wonder where this would have went.
Right. I wonder what would have been the point where it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore, Dad. Yeah. It's that spellbound thing, you know? Like, you had your long-lost parent, and all of a sudden they exist, and it seems too good to be true, and it's like, I want to believe this so hard, but they're a dickbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you are the only person who can see they're being a total manipulative, sociopathic dickbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same game.
That's exactly what he is. I mean, they really gave Ego a massive ego.
Yeah, appropriate.
Yeah. But let's see. Yeah, so he says that he put a tumor in Meredith's head. Why did he do that?
Would you look at the time? Hot damn. I have no idea. I cannot recall. It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, well, you loved her and you keep proclaiming you loved her because you just couldn't go to an Earth without her, but you kill her. Right. Was that to speed up the process of getting Peter to him or something? I mean, that's a weak ass point. You could have just kidnapped him and not killed her.
The only thing I can think, and this is me, I'm just making up shit at this point. Keep in mind.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
make it up.
Yeah, maybe Ego's being around, maybe him being this celestial being was almost poisonous in nature to her.
Well, the way he said it wasn't like and because she hung out with me so much, she got cancer or she got a tumor. But it was more like, I physically created a tumor and put said, plop, here you go.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's more the cause here.
Unfortunately, that doesn't help us figure out why the hell he did it.
You know why? Because we needed a more clear villain. And at this point, Peter was so behind him that I'm sure that there was a person in the audience who was like, yeah, come on, let's try to make this work. But no, put a tumor in a human being. Oh, hell nah. Yeah. You a villain, son.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I'm making shit up too.
The movie goes into full gear right after he says the word tumor. And so, like, there really is no time to, like, think about the why, you know. Right. But, you know, now with the movie not being in theaters and, you know, and with the invention of the pause button, you know, we're able to more fully think about these things.
Exactly. And thank you for putting it on Netflix, because then it's like, wait, pause, go back 30 seconds. Yeah. What the hell did you just say? I don't remember this from the movie theater. Yeah.
Put a tumor in that woman. Jeez.
How much more evil can you get?
Right. Yeah. Peter immediately blasts the shit out of Ego. Of course, to no avail. He comes back as David Hasselhoff, you know, fulfilling that cameo.
And that is fun. There was a lot of star power in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you saw that I always pull up the cast list for this, right? Rob Zombie was in this movie.
Yeah,
did you know that? Uh-huh. I did not.
I saw his name in the casting thing after the credits, after the credit were rolling, yeah.
Like, what the shit?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
He does have a very Ravager look about him. I'll give you that, but yeah, whatever. He played an unseen Ravager.
Ravager.
Yeah, so...
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so next up, Peter, he gets, you know, kind of captured and tortured and used by Ego, and then Ego breaks the Walkman, like, just added insult to injury.
It's like, that's a real villain move for Peter.
That was a big move there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Guardians, they all reunite because they crashed the ship into Ego. And so now, for the first time since the beginning of the movie, we have the crew together.
Yeah.
And they attempt to take down Ego. So, I mean, what happens next here, I think that mostly it's all really cool. They give us a really, really lengthy action scene. I can't necessarily call all of it a fight scene, but it's a really lengthy action scene.
Right, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah. There's a lot of busy action going on here.
The newer version of the Guardians are shown to us.
Right, and that all mostly works really well here. we get like just there's a lot of really cool and fun action set pieces that we get here. With the crew trying to find a way to take down Ego, and then with the Sovereign attacking, and then with them trying to defend themselves against the Sovereign. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Yeah, it's all pretty cool though.
Ego versus Gold versus Guardians.
Pretty much.
Yep.
I have here that there are but there is some very corny dialogue in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
they have some funny ass lines, and then they have some eye rolling moments.
They have some lines from like, did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And unfortunately they gave a lot of it to Drax.
Oh
You
yeah.
notice, like, what was that one super cliche? Like, it made me roll my eyes on the side at the same time. It's like, we're not friends, we're a family. Like,
Yeah, it was something exactly like that.
and it gave us the pause and everything. And
Again, it's like you were saying earlier. They had this agenda of push the family idea, and they pushed the hell out of it. They were running with the push. Like, you're not pushing a neutral car off the road anymore. You're just pushing a shopping cart down the hill.
right,
Family. Please enjoy the imagery, people. But yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Why is there a sudden death button on this remote?
Why exactly? Thank you. Like, what the shit is this?
Like, in what situation
Groot.
would you need to
I am
kamikaze yourself?
Yeah. No. Like what?
Because if you press the other button, then it explodes immediately, correct?
Like, why would you build this flaw into your bomb? Why would you put a tiny ass opening into your Death Star? Like, why do this to yourselves? You know?
Yeah.
It's the same principle here. Yeah.
Yeah, basically with that whole explosive. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a reason as to why they had, a sudden death button on it, other than, just, once again, just for Groot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have a cute moment. No, not that button. Does anyone have any tape?
Yeah. And then Peter flying around off screen asking for tape.
That was funny.
That was funny. It was.
No one has tape. Did you ask Nebula?
Yeah.
No.
You don't sound like you asked her. Well, I asked Yondu. He was right next to her.
That's funny.
That was. Let's see. So for the next part here, most of the team is able to get off of Planet Ego, all except for Peter and Yondu at this point. We get the I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Actually, this is before everybody leaves the planet. But yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Mary Poppins, is he cool? Is he cool?
Is he cool? Yeah. And at that point, everyone in the audience was loving it. And Peter's just like, yeah, super cool.
Yeah, he's badass. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
And people
love that shit. Like, there's so many memes about that.
And then there's T-shirts too.
Yeah. I feel bad for Emily Blunt, the actress that's playing Mary Poppins now.
I know, right?
Because no one's gonna look at her without thinking about Yondu.
Like, Michael Rooker has taken Mary Poppins. He's just like, this is mine.
I feel like he needs a cameo in that movie in some capacity.
Seriously,
is
make
Mary
him
Poppins
something.
Is that a Disney-made movie? Make that shit happen.
Yeah. It is. It's Disney.
Okay.
It's gotta be. Give me a minute.
I assume it is. I mean, it's Mary Poppins.
I accidentally typed in Mary Poopins.
You would get something that you would not like.
Exactly. It'd be the worst thing. Oh shit. It is. It's not saying.
Yeah.
It's okay. What the piss? Give it a minute. Oh, ooh, wow. The super OG Mary Poppins is Walt Disney. And then the one that you and I know was also Disney. And then the one coming up later is apparently also going to be Disney, I think. Yeah, so we'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, the simplest question answered now after a minute of research.
Let's see. Nebula, she saves Gamora.
Right.
And Gamora gives her this look like, I can't believe you just did that. But Nebula immediately says, just get over it. We get the final showdown with Ego. And Peter is able to summon the strength from within to battle Ego. I have here that that it's equally cool and corny.
It was.
It was cool seeing the fight. It was corny hearing the reasoning for it.
Like, the cool part about it was the idea that Peter did relics from the past. Like, Pac-Man. He used a Pac-Man to fight his dad.
I mean, it was a really fun fight because, like, this is pretty much the first fight of this kind we've seen in the Guardians movie.
Yeah.
You know, like a one-on-one fisticuffs kind of, you know, battle against battle type
but
deal.
on, like, such a power level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, celestial versus semi-celestial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I thought it was equally cool and corny, you know. The core, it does explode, killing Ego, and Yondu sacrifices himself to save Peter.
He wasn't your daddy.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a cool line to me, honestly. I enjoyed that line.
It was a cool line.
Yeah. Especially Michael Rooker's delivering of it.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't have a problem with the line. I didn't have a problem with what they were really trying to convey.
What'd you have a problem with?
I had a problem with them trying to get me to buy this relationship by squeezing it into this movie versus building upon it in the first one.
They didn't truly build upon it. You are very correct about that. Like, it just kind of happened.
Yep.
It made sense when they did it, but you're right. It's like we didn't lead up to this at all, and here all of a sudden is magic card flip. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I have no problem with Yondu, you know, coming more closer to the good guy side. I have no problem with him, you know, being a father figure to Peter and all that. It's just that you guys should have given us just something more in the first one to really help us buy into that, you know. But you know, what can you do? They really wanted to drive home that whole family deal, you know.
Dude, they drove it home so much that we were cattle, and they just cattle prodded on us. Like, we have the burn on our back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why so many people reacted to that. It's not because I don't think a lot of people bought that either. I think that people bought into Yondu though.
Right.
And
Yondu was the great part about that.
Yeah.
If someone else said that, it would have been like, well, who the hell do you think you are?
You know, I feel kind of bad for Kraglin because Kraglin and Yondu were really close too, but he didn't get he got Yondu's whistle. I mean, he got Yondu's arrow.
Yeah.
But like he didn't get like the moment with Yondu, you know.
I mean, maybe. Do you think we'll ever see him trying to use the whistling arrow again?
I'm calling it now, folks. Kraglin kills Thanos with the arrow.
Well, how much you willing to put on that?
Handshake and a cream soda.
Make it root beer, and it's good.
Anyways, Peter compares David Hasselhoff to Yondu in a pretty funny and accurate comparison. He didn't have a cool car, but he had a cool whistle.
Yeah. He did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have it written again here now. This is the last scene with Nebula and Gamora, and I have here written now that I'm at that part of the movie that to me this is still the best arc of the movie. Kraglin, he gives Peter a Zune, and it was so great.
It was hilarious seeing that.
Yeah. Like this is what they're using. This is what everyone's using to listen to the music on your planet now.
You know, that's got to be like one of the only remaining Zunes in the world.
It's got to be like Marvel had to like scour the earth to find one of those.
Did you ever see a kid actually using one? Do you remember one?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay, I was about to say, I do remember. I had this really goofy friend in an old class, and he brought it out one day, and it's just like, oh, you got the Zune. Yeah. That's the only and the last time I saw one before going to see this movie.
Let me tell you, I had a friend, and he's the only one, like you said, that had the Zune.
Right.
And then I had another friend, and see if you remember this. Okay. Do you remember, because of course, the iPod demolished the Zune.
Oh, yeah.
But do you remember the counterpart to the Blu-ray? Do you remember? It was a red disc. 'Cause Blu-ray is blue, obviously. And this other one was red. I think it was called the HD movies. But Blu-ray kicked its ass. Like those two things.
I do remember that.
Were alive at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's some shit. Like, my brain just unlocked and... Yeah, like,
right.
oh, man. forgot about the HT movies.
Yeah, me too. Somehow that Zune just reminded me of that.
I know, right? Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Oh man, Peter gives Kraglin Yondu's whistle, which I thought was appropriate.
Yeah.
I was fine with that. Next, Peter, he's listening to a song on his Zune, and then he gives Groot one of the earbuds. Does Groot have ears?
Quentin, ask yourself the question here. He is a tree.
He's more like a sapling.
What do you think? Okay, he's a sapling. That means even less branches.
Oh, you know what? I think the answer is yes. Certain plants do react to music.
Keep reading. We're done. We're done here.
Let's see the rest of the Ravager crew that I guess are pretty straight. They pay respects to Yondu.
And you had the cry of the horns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. You know, they heard about Yondu's final acts, and you know they come out and they give like this really cool firework display. And there was even like a firework that was shaped like Yondu's arrow. That was pretty cool.
I loved the Ravager culture here. You know, not the barbaric pirate-esque thing we were talking about.
Like
the
branch
overall. Right. Yeah.
I really loved Kraglin's reaction when he saw that. You know, he was filled with like emotion and joy. Like he didn't say anything, but just seeing like his physical reaction was really cool to see.
He played it well.
He did. I have here that I am sick of Groot. I am sick of him.
At this point, it's like, okay, damn it, get this out of my face.
Yeah.
Like, it's been fun and cute for a while. A few scenes played okay, but literally, please stop.
Yeah, it's like you guys need to just calm down. Stop with the Groot. Stop with the baby Groot.
Yeah.
And I
don't care how many people coo and awe over him. No,
I'm referring to that useless pandering ass scene where Drax has Groot and Groot yawns and like lays his head on the.
That was some bullshit. Like that made me angry in theaters. Like, you piece of shit, you get off of that man's pecs.
Like, oh my god, what are you doing? People?
You respect the fact that he's a killing machine, and you're supposed to be an old ass wise tree, not this baby piece of shit. And then
freaking Groot. Yeah, and then we go into like 4 mid-credit scenes and the post-credit scene. So let's.
And you saw Jeff Goldblum in the credits, right?
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
It was awesome seeing him there. Yeah.
Let's see. The first mid-credit scene is Kraglin practicing with the whistle, and he accidentally stabs Drax. That was pretty funny.
Yep. He's got to learn how to use that better.
He's got to learn a little bit more. Just a little bit. I mean, I'm not. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to move on. I was going to ask. I wonder what like the biomechanics of that arrow is, but nope. We're going to move on here.
Hey, moving on.
Yeah.
No idea.
Next up, Stakar. He assembles his own team of Guardians, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep. There's Martin X. He gets Charlie 27, Ving Rhames. There's like Krugar, and then there's Mainframe, which was voiced by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, which I thought that was interesting as hell.
Yeah.
So she's in the MCU now.
Technically, yep. And the way they introduced them makes me wonder, like, are we really going to see them, like, in Guardians 3, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I feel like you don't bring on people like Sylvester Stallone and Ving Rhames, you know.
Without a greater purpose,
Yeah, and also Martin X was voiced by Michael Rosenbaum. He played Lex Luthor in Smallville. He's my favorite version of Lex Luthor. So that was also interesting. Next up, Aisha. This is my favorite post-credit scene, by the way.
Thank you. We had to talk about this one. Yes.
Aisha, the one of the leaders of the Sovereign, she got notice from the higher ups that they were not pleased with her reckless display of power and how she pretty much got a lot of ships blown up and destroyed.
Yep. All over some batteries.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but we find out that she's creating someone, and she will call him Adam. And then we see Adam Warlock's cocoon. We don't see any sign of Adam, but we know that he's in there.
Yep.
And I was like, that is great.
Yes.
That really should have been the last scene.
I really hope we see him come out for the big movie here.
Oh man,
He needs to be here.
he does.
Yeah.
If they did actually cast Adam Warlock, because as far as I know, he hasn't even been casted yet. If they did, then kudos to Marvel for keeping that shit under wraps.
For real. Yeah.
Next up, we get Peter dealing with a young teen Groot.
I hated this. You could have put this before the kick-ass Adam scene. Please.
This should have gone. If I were ranking these scenes, like this would have been the first one. I mean, to get it out of the way.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Because at that point, I was like, what you talking about?
No. This was my least favorite one just because it's like, okay.
Cute chuckle and get the hell out.
Right, I found Kraglin and Drax scene more funny than this one.
Yeah, same here.
I think the only purpose this scene served was just to show us that Groot is growing up.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
No more of this baby deck.
Yeah, but now we get angsty teenage Groot.
I am Groot.
Yeah. I wonder if Groot communicates like in the MCU, if he communicates on some kind of like telepathic level, like if you build a relationship with him, like
maybe
I don't know.
I could see that because Peter seemed to have understood him pretty well too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
I believe that. Mm-hmm. In the first movie, they didn't understand him yet, did they? Mm-mm. So yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. We'll assume that's the case.
Yeah. Why not?
Good detail.
And then the last one, which is actually the post-credit scene, we get the Watchers, and they are tired of Stan Lee's shit. They are tired of listening to this man. And they just quietly all walk away. Mm. And I enjoyed that also, just because I really enjoyed seeing the Watchers.
Well, you know what they say: Watchers aren't supposed to get involved. And Stan Lee, he gets way too involved. Yeah,
and also, Watchers they typically, or not typically, but they only show up not to even warn anyone or of anything, but they're there to take note of big altering events. So I really hope that they show up in Infinity War.
They're gonna be there before anyone else.
Yeah,
they're gonna be in New York. Let me have some of that human popcorn.
Yep.
What are you guys doing here? Your heads are so fat. Just wait. Crash landing. Thanos comes out. Oh, it's getting good.
Yep. They're almost like Metron in that sense in the DC universe, because Metron, he sits in the Mobius chair and he pretty much observes all the happenings of the universe. And he's supposed to be, non-interfering, and the Watchers are kind of the same way. They just kind of watch from the sidelines. And it's also interesting because for the Civil War podcast a few weeks ago, as I was rereading that, I realized that Uatu shows up in this. He doesn't say anything. He's just there to record.
Yeah, Which, congrats, you're actually obeying your rules here.
Yeah. Like, I'm not getting involved, guys. I'm just letting y'all, because it was really funny in the sense, especially in the sense of the graphic novel, because this was right before the war finally started, and I think it was either Tony Stark or Reed Richards. So well, shit, the fact that he's here doesn't bode well for us at all.
Yep. You're on that next level when you recognize the foreign being. Yeah,
and I guess in that sense, he's kind of like the Mothman. Because the urban legend of the Mothman is that the Mothman appears, and whenever you see him, it's a sign of foreboding doom and danger. Not that he causes it, but he's just a sign that it's coming. But anyway, guys, that show lesson on the Mothman and also the Watchers and Metron.
That was a lot.
Yeah. So what you overall think of Guardians 2, Kev?
I enjoyed it more the second time around, just because I turned off my brain for it. I wasn't comparing it nearly as much to Guardians 1, and that immensely helped me. I'd give this movie a 7.2, 7.3.
Nice.
You know?
I also gave it an overall higher score than I did last time.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah. Not by much. I give it a 6.8.
Okay. No, I will say this. I did find myself actually, because I remember this was a big note for us too. One thing that the Guardians has been extremely successful with is their soundtrack. The first one got so much love that vinyls were selling out everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Some people still sell the damn vinyls. Like, guys, if you don't have it by now, you don't want it.
Right.
But no, Guardians 2, I remember we both spoke about how, it wasn't as good as Guardian 1's. Well, this time, I did find myself enjoying every song more. Again, the same reasoning. I wasn't comparing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for me, like, I wasn't comparing, but it's like...
Oh, I totally was.
With the first one, like, the songs, like, I would say 90% of the songs popped to me, and they got my attention. And this one, like... I didn't even notice they were there sometimes unless I was paying attention. Yeah. There was only like maybe 2 or 3 songs. So I was like, this is good and very appropriate for what we're getting here.
Well, 2 of them were damn vital for the soundtrack.
Fleetwood Mac, definitely.
Yeah, The Chain.
The Chain, for one.
And then
Brandy.
Written by?
Yep, the person that wrote Brandy.
Oh,
for sure.
Come on. Yep. Come on.
No, we got nothing.
The Looking Glass. Yeah. I'm teaching them white people music.
Yep. Like, I never would have got that one. I would have said literally everything else.
Yeah. No, you're good. I would have given you some hints. Like, what else can you call a magnifying glass? Or something, Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man.
But yeah, that's our review of Guardians 2, guys.
That's the movie.
Yeah. What do you hope that they do differently for Guardians 3?
Keep their characters straight. You know, don't give us a dark plot and then, like, quote unquote, buckle your seatbelts and prepare yourselves by trying to make it too lighthearted and jovial and full of jokes, and everyone gets a joke here and everyone gets a funny moment there. Instead, equal your plot out so you can keep your jovial attitude, because people want the jokes now. If you do the third movie and it's going to be way darker, that could be really cool, but a lot of people are still going to want the jokes. Either way, I don't care what the hell you do. Either do a fun movie where your plot can match it, or do a dark movie where you don't lace it thick and drip it with jokes. So keep your character straight, keep your plot true, keep everything sensical. Please. And for the love of all that is sacred, you best keep baby damn Groot off the screen. Forever. I don't want to see that shit again, Marvel.
You heard him, people. Kevin means that shit.
I do.
All right.
I wanted that to be excessively clear.
Oh, it was. It was. Yeah.
How about you, buddy?
No, I mean, I explicitly agree. I feel like it'd be dangerous for me not to agree. But yeah, I mean, really, like, just going back on what you said, they really need to. I think they really need to take a look at what made the first one so successful, and then really try to build upon that, because the second one just felt like a bad carbon ripoff of the first one.
Yep.
It was kind of like, I may have used this analogy before, but it's the same thing with like Johnny Depp in the Pirate movies. Pirates 1 was a great movie. He did a great performance, but the Pirate sequels was almost just like Johnny Depp pretending to play the role of Jack Sparrow. Whereas in Pirates 1, he was Jack Sparrow.
I know this is a conversation that you probably have had before. Even with me, I don't remember it though. So, yeah, this is fitting. This is fresh even for me. Just because my sorry ass memory.
But I know that James Gunn said they're going to make big and drastic changes for the third one. I mean, good. I guess, but if you're a director, then I guess that's what you're supposed to say. Prepping.
Also, yeah.
But I mean, I can see Infinity War and Avengers 4 changing the landscape for the Guardians.
Hopefully so, especially with the Guardians' other team coming up to ranks now.
I can see them adding Adam Warlock to the mix. I can see them adding Nova to the mix, and that can really help change and then really reinvigorate the Guardian scene and also the Marvel Space Universe. You know,
Well, we know Nova is a separate movie project that they're going to be working on here in some time. Do we have it? I don't remember what year though at all. I don't know if you do.
I honestly don't remember that at all.
I thought that was in a picture that we both saw where it was like, hey, these are the projected movie ideas that they've released that they're doing, you know? And I was like, we saw obviously Captain Marvel, you know, we saw that one. I thought there was like a Nova idea sometime in years from, I don't remember.
Maybe so.
If you know the picture I'm talking about, people, please find it and post it on the wall. I would greatly appreciate that. I'm not crazy.
There was, and I know we're getting a little off topic here, but just real quick, there was one thing that someone posted online, I think on Facebook, and I actually really like the idea of it. They said that they like to see one more Thor movie with a Thor appropriate tone, but have it almost have it be like Civil War. I mean, not Civil War, but like a Winter Soldier, but with Betty Ray Bill. I was like, that would be amazing.
That would be kick-ass.
Yeah.
Who would you have play Better Ray Bill?
I guess it really doesn't matter.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett.
It'd just be Bojack.
It could just be
the whole
Bojack.
time, Bojack would be Thor.
To my knowledge, Betty Ray Bill does not get white girl wasted.
Also, yes.
Yep.
Or, you know, super whiny about his life at all.
Yeah, no. He would not be worthy to live Mjolnir, which there is no Mjolnir, so he wouldn't live it.
I know, right?
Or Stormbreaker.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, BoJack Horseman is another show on Netflix. It looks weird. It's super awesome. Give it a try.
Yep.
I recommend it highly.
But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close up shopping for the evening. We do appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. Like, you guys really do keep us afloat. Appreciate all you homies out there.
Yeah.
Real quick, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our boy. Who recently started up a podcast of his own.
Yeah, Vince and his friend. Yeah.
It is called
Heroes Unmasked.
Yep, the Heroes Unmasked
We listened
podcast.
to the first episode, you guys. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really good.
Yeah.
They cover Adams West Batman and really like the influence that it played. So, you know, if you guys are looking for another superhero podcast, and definitely check that one out as well, in addition to the Superhero Homies.
Exactly, yeah. keep your superhero homie game strong, people, okay?
But yeah, seriously, the Heroes Unmasked.
Heroes Unmasked.
Yep, Heroes Unmasked part. I always think the unmasked part comes first. It does not. The Heroes Unmasked.
Heroes Unmasked, Unmasked Heroes. Either would have worked, actually.
It's true.
It's too late to go back and edit.
Too bad to go back now. But if you search
Yeah.
for it in iTunes, because they are on iTunes,
Yep.
Then you will find them.
Are they on anything else? Not that I know of, but
I mean, probably. I know they have their RSS feed.
their link is also on Facebook. So
It
if
is.
you Facebook search Heroes Unmasked, you're gonna find them for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Unmasked Heroes.
Damn it.
Either way, they're a great new podcast. If you guys can give them the same support that you give us,
Amen.
yeah, that'd be great.
And again, guys, ladies and gents, please feel free to tell your good friends who you watch the movies with or who you talk about the movies and comics with. Tell them about us. Let's all get together up on this. We'll argue and you know, fan all over these movies together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, gifts, threats, food supplies, or egos, then hit us up at...
No egos, damn it. You sociopath. I'm sorry, keep saying your bit.
Hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or the Facebook page, Superhero Homies. And as always, guys, if you haven't done it already, then hit that subscribe button. And we're going to go ahead and close the shop for the evening, guys. And as always, I'm Quentin.
I am Kevin.
See you next time.